Patreon Q&A number 121. I want to thank all 111 of my amazing patrons. Thank you for your continued support. And to everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers for all of the series I'm going to be talking about, so tread carefully. Boxsteam asks, if Saitama really wanted to destroy himself for some reason, do you think there's a way he could do so? Punching himself, perhaps? So I don't know about punching himself because we haven't really seen anything like that yet, and I doubt that that would be enough to really take himself out. I mean, just guessing, of course. I guess the one possibility that we've at least seen that could, in theory, take him out post, limit removal, of course, is depriving him of oxygen, possibly. Because when Boros kicked him to the moon, he was holding his breath, and despite him being able to survive in the vacuum seemingly, it seems like he did need oxygen, right? I mean, you can interpret this sequence however you want. Maybe he just assumes that he needs to hold his breath. It's a possibility that he doesn't. I mean, there's so many unknowns with Saitama at this point. Maybe he can somehow just, I don't know, breathe in space or something like that. Even though it seems unlikely, just expect the unexpected with Saitama, especially as we go deeper into his character and the true depths of his power. I would bank on something like that at this point, rather than him punching himself or getting shot with 1,000 nukes or something like that. Of course, if he went about making the nukes come on him. I'm not even sure if him going to the center of the earth or something like that would take him out, or if he just destroyed the earth with a punch and the resulting explosion. Not even sure if that would take him out. But my best guess, at least at this point in time, would either be drowning or just him jumping into space and then just, going out into the cosmos and seeing if the lack of oxygen or just the vacuum itself or the environment within space is enough to, I don't know, take him out possibly. It's really hard to say, at least within the world of One Punch Man. I'm not saying if another character came in and took care of him. I wonder if Saitama himself even knows, or maybe even if one knows. Crazy Iguana asks, in season 2 of Mob Psycho, Dimple possesses Musashi's body and unlocks all of his strength, surpassing his limitations for a short period of time. If Dimple were to possess Tank Top Master, would he be able to take on someone like Darkshine or Goketsu? So this is another interesting question, and I guess we can kind of relate this to if Tank Top Master took monster cells, because it's said that monster cells pretty much make you as strong as you are capable of being, which is, I guess, the same principle between Dimple and Musashi here. Also, both concepts created by the same guy. So in my opinion, at least, a good way to go about this is if Tank Top Master ate monster cells, how strong would he be? Would he be able to take on Darkshine or Goketsu? Because it's how strong was Goketsu before he ate monster cells? I've always assumed that he was probably S-class level, right? Because he insinuates that if Suiryu were to take monster cells, he would probably be cadre or executive level within the Monster Association, but not quite as strong as Goketsu. He doesn't outright say that, but in my opinion, it's kind of implied. So where is Tank Top Master in relation to human Goketsu? Maybe relative somewhat? And Goketsu, certified high dragon, at least by my standards. He is the high dragon. So it's where is Tank Top Master right now? Is he a dragon? Is he a super high demon, above demon? I talked about it recently in my S-Class Hero Disaster Levels video. So a little difficult to say right now, but I would say that Dimple possessing him, making him as strong as he could be, / the monster cell improvement on a Tank Top Master, I think could definitely be at the minimum competitive with Darkshine or Goketsu. Not sure if he could beat them, but I think he could definitely give them somewhat of a good fight. Delamante asks, what are some of your favorite moments in Attack on Titan? Some of my favorite moments so far, Levi taking on the Beast Titan. That's incredible in the manga and even more so in the anime. And then another moment that really blew my mind with the series was Eren's heel turn. I mean, that's incredible. And then recently, which I think is in chapter 130, when we see all of the Colossals, the army of them coming through the ocean, and the Navy has no effect on them, and then you see Eren in his, I guess, final form behind them. Oh man, what an incredible sequence. Dino W asks, if you could pick 5 villains to break out of Tartarus in the upcoming My Hero arc, who would they be? So somebody brought this up to my attention on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure the USJ Nomu should still be in Tartarus, right? I mean, if he would be anywhere right now, it would be there. So USJ Nomu for sure. Overhaul, Stain, absolutely Stain needs to break out. I'd like to see Kurogiri come out. I mean, either way, if he's going to be Kurogiri or Shirakumo, either or, I would like both of those characters to exist to some extent. And then I think Muscular coming out would be pretty cool too. I'd like to see him go against a few other characters outside of Deku, you know? And the second question, the MCU is doing a multiverse for pretty much all of the major superheroes in Marvel. If you could choose your own alternate version of one Avenger, what would they be? I'd like to see an evil version of Banner. Not just evil Hulk, but just evil Banner and Hulk in general. I think that would be super interesting because like Banner at this point, at least in the MCU, is one of the most intelligent characters in the verse. And I'd like to see like an evil, cunning version of that. And then of course, you know, you can compile that with the evil version of the Hulk, which would be an amazing, you know, big bad for the Avengers themselves to take on. Geruda asks, who do you think is going to be the MVP of the Supernova fight versus Kaido and Big Mom? So, I mean, on paper, it's got to be Luffy, right? But I'm not really sure where this fight is going. Like, yeah, it would be incredible if it was just start to finish, the 5 Supernovas taking on Kaido and Big Mom to completion. But that just seems a little too good and unlikely for the way that One Piece goes. Like, I'm sure they'll have a little bit of a back and forth, but then we're gonna see them part ways. I just think especially Big Mom's gonna go off and do something. Like, I don't see Kaido and Big Mom being a tag team for very long, and especially the 5 Supernovas. Like, I think Zoro's eventually gonna have to fight King or something like that. I think that's going to happen inevitably. Luffy's, I'm pretty sure, gonna stay there and fight Kaido to completion to some extent. And I think Kid is definitely going to stay there. I could be wrong about that, but for like Law and Killer, I'm just unsure about them. So I would put my money on it either being Luffy, Kid, or Law, because those were the 3 ones that were focused on, you know, since Sabaody. And I think that they're probably going to be the new emperors after this arc if Kaido and Big Mom are taken out, which seems like they are. Hunter H asks, what do you think is the disaster level of Kratos from God of War? So I haven't been asked this many times on the Twitch streams, and my answer is usually I don't really know, because I can only go off of the feats that I like literally see. And they look like dragon level feats to me. Yes, they are impressive. He has many impressive feats of strength and he has defeated many impressive foes, but I don't really know the deep mythology of Kratos. I haven't played the God of War game. So like when I say that he's a dragon, it's gonna anger people who know the deep cut you know, lore and mythology on Kratos. It's like, no, he's universal multi-buster level and all of this stuff because he did this and that and this character represents that. It's like, I don't know that stuff. I could only see what I see. So, you know, maybe he's above God for all I know. But just from what I see, he's like, you know, a high dragon, something like that maybe. Legendarius asks, what does sword in One Piece mean? So I'm not sure if it's an acronym because it's not like presented that way. You know, there's not like periods in between the letters. I mean, it could be an acronym, and what you're saying here would make sense possibly, but I think it's more just a cool name. And it's more on theme with like the private sector of the Marines, the more elite groups. You know, like Cypher Pole Aegis Zero, like Aegis means like shield. So I think, you know, the sword represents like the sword and the shield of like the deeper part of the Marines possibly. Mr.Awsome asks, do you think they will get a comprehensive backstory for every S-Class hero? I don't think everyone's gonna get a comprehensive backstory, but I do think all of them, at least I hope so, we'll get a backstory to some degree. I mean, we have a lot of them right now, some more fleshed out than others, but like, you know, characters like Tank Top Master, I doubt we're gonna get something comprehensive on him. But I just hope that we get a backstory at all, you know. For your second question, do you think Amai has the right to gatekeep the S-Class? I actually do, and maybe, you know, most of his motives aren't always the best for gatekeeping the S-Class, but I think that if anybody should, it should be somebody like him, or just somebody in general, because the Hero Association executives are incompetent. I mean, it's been shown that way many times, and they could be putting guys like the Disciples or Blue Flame or like that into the S-Class when they really shouldn't be, because I don't think they're on the S-Class level. I think they're where they should be. And Amai Mask being there, you know, gatekeeping, I think is the right move. Now, does it have to be Amai Mask? Not necessarily. I mean, there definitely could be somebody better than him, but I think he's been doing somewhat of a good job. Although he did say that like Metal Bat was a weakling and that he shouldn't be in the S-Class. Things like that kind of conflict with it because, you know, Metal Bat is absolutely S-Class level and it would be a tragedy to have him stuck in A-Class. But I think for the most part, he is right to do what he's doing. Natedawg asks, do you think the manga will change who Golden S fights? Do you think maybe Bang will take him down and replace his feats with Metal Bat and Tank Top Master? I don't think so. Mainly because I think it would ruin Bang if they took away his big moments with the abandonment. And I think Garou really needs to fight Golden S because that's his big moment as well. You know, not only him like technically saving everyone inadvertently, but also becoming Awakened Garou at the same time. And also Murata kind of, you know, spoiled that this was for sure going to happen in the manga on his live stream a couple years ago. Like he said that, you know, when Garou does evolve, it will be against Golden S. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised if Golden S fights people that he hasn't fought before, because in the webcomic, he only really fights Tatsumaki and Garou, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if he fights like another S-Class hero that he didn't originally fight. I actually welcome that. Beowolf asks, the entire Titan Rumbling army versus Flashy Flash and Sonic. So this is going to be a difficult fight for them because they're taking on like an army of near beefcakes pretty much. Now, Flashy Flash and Sonic are way faster than them for sure, way more agile. But coming in unprepared, it would maybe be difficult for Flashy Flash and Sonic. But if they knew the weaknesses and exactly where to attack them, I think they could probably do it. I mean, there are a lot of them, so it would take them some time, but given the parameters, and especially how powerful Flashy Flash has been recently, at least in the webcomic, and I'm sure he will match that in the manga or at least surpass it, I personally would put money on them being able to take them out. Is it guaranteed? No, but I think they could. And then for your second question, do you have any expectations on the end of the Attack on Titan manga? Do you think it will satisfy readers? I think Isayama will probably have a satisfying ending for the most part, or as satisfying as it could be. I mean, where the story is headed right now, or at least as far as I know, it can only be so satisfying. I mean, I think it's probably going to have a polarizing ending regardless. But for my expectations, I'm thinking that Eren is absolutely going to die. He kind of has to, but if he lives, I think that would be amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Eren's going to die. There's going to be peace to some extent, but like, you know, the peace at what cost kind of approach. John H asks, how strong do you think Sukuna with all 20 fingers is going to be? I'm pretty sure he's going to be strongest in the verse, or at least the way that it's being built up at this point. I'm on chapter 53 right now, so we still don't have a clear idea, but just the way that everything is being built up, and considering how powerful Gojo is, I'm thinking that he's going to be the one above all probably, and I'm pretty sure we're eventually going to see Sukuna with all 20 fingers. I mean, we kind of have to at this point. I think it would be extremely anticlimactic if we don't. And I know that Gojo said that he could probably defeat Sukuna, you know, at full power, but I don't believe that's necessarily the case. Snowpeas asks, do you think Saitama could pass the Hunter exam? So I don't really remember it too well, but I do think Saitama obviously would dominate in the physical, you know, tests that are part of the exam, which there was quite a few from what I remember, but like the more logical ones, like the sushi test, he would probably fail that. And if there's any other tests that are close to that, which I don't really remember right now, he would probably fail those. So I'm not sure if that merits a fail or a pass, but I mean, it's very likely he would fail it, right? I mean, especially since he just barely passed the hero exam for the Hero Association, which was seemingly very easy. Steven asks, besides Crescendo and Saitama, what other characters would take interest in Genos' rogue cyborg vendetta? So I think Metal Knight for sure, because it's technologically based and implied strength behind it, so that would certainly interest him. And he also kind of seems to, I don't know, kind of like Genos somewhat. And then maybe even Dr. Genus would have interest in that because, you know, Armored Gorilla is a cyborg, or he says he's the only cyborg from the House of Evolution, so maybe he would be more interested in that if he knew how powerful the Mad Cyborg was. Skinny Giraffe asks, what's the saddest moment in One Piece in your opinion? Towards the end of Sabaody, when all the Straw Hats are getting like swatted by Kuma, that's really sad because like, especially if you go into that at first and you don't really know what's going to happen, it's like heartbreaking that like, you know, Luffy is just watching all of his friends seemingly die, or at least, you know, at first it's implied that they're dying, and like his heart is breaking over and over again once he sees each one of them get swatted away. And also Robin's flashback, one of the most devastating or tragic backstories of the Straw Hats, maybe the most tragic backstory of the Straw Hats. And your second question, what's the most heartwarming moment? I really liked the ending of Thriller Bark, or at least pretty sure it was, like when they all get together and Brooks playing Bing Saki on the piano and everybody's kind of just having a good time. Luffy's on the piano. they're all just, you know, vibing. That's like a really nice, heartwarming moment. Wolffire54 asks, do you think Blast is able to see into the future and see God like Psychos and Shibawa? It's possible. I mean, we just need to get more information on Blast. I mean, if he is able to read Tatsumaki's mind by putting his hand on her head, and if he is in fact an Esper, then it's very possible he has access to the third eye ability. I don't think that's too unrealistic, especially if he's a super advanced Esper the way that Psychos is, because she obviously has that ability as well. But I don't think that it ties into when the time comes, don't expect someone to come and save you. I think the manga actually gave us more insight to what that actually means. I think Blast was saying that, like, because you're so powerful, don't expect someone else to come and save you because they're not going to be as strong as you. And if you fail, they're likely going to fail as well. Then for the second question, out of which of these characters do you think had an encounter with Blast once? Saitama, King Garou, or Genos? I don't think any of these characters have, probably, but, you know, I would have said the same thing about a My Mask, you know, before we got that reveal. So, you know, what do I know? But if I were to just guess which one of these characters did, probably King, because, you know, that would be pretty cool. Just King randomly encountered Blast or something like that. I think it would be most likely of these characters. But that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 111 of my incredible patrons. And if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, simply check out the Patreon. The $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you in the next one.